What's up? And welcome to the Sisterhood Corner. To the newbies, welcome. To those who've been here before, welcome back. It's on to the next letter. This one is titled Second Chance at Life and Love. Hi, Sisterhood Corner. Thank you for opening this platform for us to talk about things that are generally not easy to open up about. You are welcome, my lady. I am a lady in her 30s who is in dire need of help on how to proceed with this thing called life. I was formerly incarcerated after I was convicted of attempted murder in my 20s. Like a lot of crimes of passion, I was overcome by my emotions after finding out that the father of my unborn child was secretly making arrangements to marry someone else behind my back. On finding out, I lost it, saw red, and assaulted him with a knife. Upon realization, or upon realizing what I'd done, I panicked, left him laying there, and ran away. Turns out a neighbor had heard the commotion, saw me running out, and went to investigate. That's when an ambulance was called and my baby daddy was taken to hospital. I was arrested the next day and had to watch my mother collapse when she found out what I had done. I went on trial and I was subsequently sentenced to 10 years imprisonment, of which I served 7.5 years. Though I was relieved that my baby daddy had not died on that day, my anger was still at boiling point when I went to prison. Long story short, I gave birth to my son in prison. My precious boy came out a spitting image of his father, and I fell in love with him immediately. And for the 2 years out of my entire sentence, I was my happiest. He was my escape from daily prison life. After the 2 years was up, he was taken out of the prison system and went to live with my parents. Now that nearly broke me. However, I now had a reason to change, reflect on my actions, and do the necessary inner work. Fast forward, once out of prison, I was lucky that I had a good support structure and my parents organized a job for me. I worked super hard, took care of my child, and it felt good to finally stand on my own 2 feet and make them proud again. Now, the challenge has been the dating scene. I've been on a few dates and have had a few relationships, but the moment I disclose this part of my past, men disappear. I am currently in a 2-year relationship, however, with a man I've fallen deeply in love with. He also loves me. He doesn't have to say it most times, but I just feel it. The problem is that I have never told him the whole truth about my past. And now I'm even scared to do so, as I fear losing him. To be honest, I'm not sure if I can survive losing this one. This is the best love I've ever had. Am I a terrible person for keeping this from him? What do I do? First of all, thank you so much for trusting this platform with your story, and also your positive feedback on the platform. We appreciate that a lot. And also, congratulations, man, on turning your life around and grabbing that opportunity that you received from your support structure, being your parents, for grabbing that opportunity with both hands and hitting the ground running and saying, listen, I need to work and take care of my child, and coming back and standing on your own 2 feet. We all know it's never an easy thing, for people who have been to prison to come back to society and get the necessary support, right? So We know that a lot of them complain about that support system not being there, and that's some of them reverting back to crime, especially our brothers, right? And I say this from a point of somebody who had a brother, who my older brother had been in and out of prison, and when he came back, life was really tough, and unfortunately, um, eventually, things just didn't work out well. So yeah, kudos to you. I want to address your letter. Normally I would like to go to the top of the letter, try and work my way through it. I want to start with the final part, right? The final part that sort of like worried me. Just to get it out of the way. When you say, to be honest, I'm not sure if I can survive losing this one. This is the best life I've ever had. I hope that's just coming from a point of, you'll be so heartbroken, it would really mess with your emotions. But it's not coming from the point of, I can't bear to lose him. If I can't have him, nobody can, right? I hope it's not coming from that point, right? I just thought I'd address that, because this is not me minimizing the inner work that you did. Like you do mention earlier on in your letter that you did a lot of inner work. And this is not me minimizing also the fact that you've really worked hard in terms of reintegrating back into society and taking care of your son. So it's just that that line worried me a little bit, but that could just be the paranoid version of me, because, we live in a society that obviously has high GBV, statistics. So I just thought I'd clear that up. Now, I think that a part of you already knows the truth. I think that you just want to hear it from someone. You need to tell him the truth. The fact that this has gone on for 2 years, that's way too long. You should have been honest from the beginning. But we are here now. You need to tell him the truth. And once you tell him the truth, be prepared for any reaction. And please, once you tell him the truth, do not rush his healing. Because I can promise you, once he hears the truth, he will need time to process this. So chances are he might then need space. And during that time when he needs space, please don't bombard him with calls. Don't bombard him with any communication. Give him the space. This type of information is information that he will need to sit down and think about. Granted, he's already spent time with you, and he's seen the softer side to you as a woman, all the elements, but he will still need time to sit down and try and reconcile that with what you previously did, right? Because as women, when we're in love, obviously we get mushy, we get, so he probably already knows that side, and it's going to be it's going to take him a moment, because he's not going to be able to reconcile the past you, because I like to believe you were young at the time. Well, we're not going to blame age, because I think these things happen at any age, but you couldn't control your emotions then, and you went with your emotions then. But I'd like to believe since then you've changed into a different person with the inner work you did while in prison. You probably took some anger management classes and all of those things. So I'd like to believe you handle your fury different now, but that's not something he knows. Those are things he's going to need to process. And only when he's ready to discuss it with you with the necessary questions can you then start opening up. Don't force him. Don't sit on the phone with him. Give him enough space. Be prepared that he will break up with you. He might. That's also a possibility. All I'm saying is, with this type of truth hidden, anything is possible the day he finds out. But be open to it. When you decide to finally tell him the truth, be open to the man saying, listen, I need space to think about this, and eventually breaking up with you. Or he could say, I need space, and indeed go and process. And for all you know, he has, you see, this is the thing as humans. For all you know, he could actually be a guy who could sit down after he's had enough space to think about this and consult it with whoever he wants to consult with. And maybe arrive at the fact that, oh no, well, at least the guy didn't die. She's not a murderer. I can see how rage can get you there. You never know. He might not be judgmental of it, but he might also be. So anything is possible. Or he might be the kind of guy who believes in forgiveness and say, listen, this is a mistake she did in her 20s. I've been with the woman for 2 years, and I know what I've experienced out of that woman. So I can now then, maybe that guy, that relationship brought out the worst in her, but I know I've brought out the best because I've seen the best. Girl, anything. This is me just throwing out scenarios. But what is important is that once you tell him, give him space. Just know that he could eventually break up with you. All I'm saying is prepare yourself for anything once you decide to disclose. But it's very, very important that you disclose. You can't lie now anymore. You cannot not tell this man at this point. Because I promise you, one of two things is going to happen. Either a family member or somebody who knows you in the neighborhood or whatever is going to tell this guy. And if it comes out that way, I promise you, then all hell will break loose for sure. But if it comes with you, then it might, that's something for him to look at and say, oh, she was honest about it. Fine, she took time, but at least she eventually told me about it. And maybe he could respect that, right? But if you keep quiet and somebody leaks that information to him, whether it's your family member or somebody, in the neighborhood or whatever, then that puts a whole different spin into this whole thing. So I'm just happy that you managed to, it's very, very important to experience real love. More than anything, if he decides to leave you, look at it this way. You experienced the type of love that drove you to the brinks of rage, where you almost unalived someone. But you also experienced what a good man feels like, right? And going forward, you will know how to be honest up front. But more than anything, you can take the beautiful memories with. That's if he decides he wants nothing to do with you anymore. You take the memories with, and you can look at men objectively going forward and say they are good men, they are bad men, because you would have experienced both. I promise you, not many people have had the luxury of experiencing a very good man and a bad man. In most cases, somebody experiences the worst of the worst men, and she paints all men with the same brush. But you've had the blessing of seeing both. And lucky are those who just only ever experience good men, of course. So there's no more stalling now. Tell this man the truth. Do it now. Okay? Do it, and do it now. And after that, but first prep yourself mentally. I'm not sure if you want to believe in counseling. I don't know if after leaving prison you've done counseling. If you do have, whether it's a church minister that you speak to or somebody, speak to them so they can prep you up about the aftermath of what you're going to tell this man. And then take it easy from there and allow the man to be. All I'm saying is, after that though, I'm not saying you must take verbal abuses and all of that from the man once he comes back. If he comes back, you better come back on a good clean slate, not throw this in your face, because that alone won't be good for you. That becomes a toxic relationship. That's not going to be good. But if he comes back in good faith, then it means that all of that won't matter and he will be good to you as he was. And he might even appreciate the fact that you were honest. And if the relationship doesn't change, great stuff. But tell him the truth. Good luck.